You cannot imagine how bullish I am. When in 3 weeks, in the upcoming 3 weeks, Bitcoin will actually do a new all-time high, I want you to remember that you first heard it on this channel. I want you to go on Google to type Stand Crypto up only and share this video with your parents, with your wife, with your kids, and with all the people you pretty much know, because it's going to be the greatest prediction, because all of you influencers who you are watching are screaming for us going down. Not going to happen. We will also go through a very interesting post from Caesar on the fact that most of the meme coins are actually scams, and especially the ones I was sharing on this channel. And I will update you with my current bread situation. And we will also go through the comments under the previous video, because I saw a lot of people sharing unsubscribe and things like that. And guys, you just don't deserve me. You cannot fathom in your capitalist mind that someone can actually be doing the things I'm doing for free, not getting paid by this project, when a guy who's just creating TikToks on the project is making millions of dollars and I am getting paid zero. Let's actually dive in. You were building credibility early. You look different to most of the other crypto influencers. Now you have just joined them. Influencers promote a coin when they are ready to dump it. They talk shit about a coin when they want to buy it. Unsubscribed. You got paid. Don't blame you with recent losses. You need an easy payday. Unsubscribed. A guy with a bobo picture. And 54 likes. He did FAT, people sell, he bought. It's obvious, man. I thought he was a real one. What a shame. It's so crazy to me to actually be reading these type of comments, because what you're implying is that I actually got paid to enter my 50k position at the exact local top of 0054. It's so crazy to me. It does not connect in your mind well that someone can actually be doing things like that for free. It's so insane for you to actually be seeing things like that. But I did this whole thing just myself, just for free. And I explained the first reasoning. You know that I am the most transparent guy on YouTube, in all this crypto Twitter, crypto space as well. I explained the thesis clearly yesterday when I was longing bread as well. The fact that things that were shady, they got priced into the token already. And I do think that it will actually continue doing well, because of the fact it's a scam garbage initially with a bunch of people, early insiders buying the whole thing, but they have platforms. They have people involved. They're kind of like mafia running the whole thing. I can tell you one thing again, because most of you might actually know me from the fact that I was exposing Satoshi VM, right? We were at like 12 bucks when I think I initially started to FAT, but the bottom of the FAT was at $2. This day, at the bottom of the FAT, I was actually sitting in my office and I was thinking whether or not I should actually buy, because it was at the absolute bottoms. Understanding that probably most of these influencers that will continue to show this thing, understanding that this thing actually is quite popular in China. And Chinese guys, they don't give a fine fuck about my channel. They would just continue to buy this thing. And they actually, in that region, they have a different view on scam in the first place. It's just a different type of mindset as well. And it went up to, I think, 3.5. So I decided not to buy, right? But if I even bought from 3.5, I would actually be making 250%. I think this measure is actually broken, because from 3.5, I would be making around 3x on the altcoin at that time, which is not that bad, but still quite risky. And if you cut absolute bottom of the FAT, if you actually were able to buy at $2, you would be making 6x's on this FAT. As mentioned, we have to view FAT as an opportunity. I was telling you, I think I'm the only one who is publicly telling you that bread is shady. And I'm not buying the exact FAT. I've actually done something quite stupid. I pretty much bought the local top of the reversal. You start to hate on me. You start to say that I obviously got paid. Guy who was doing TikToks about bread, he got millions of dollars. I was not paid. I just done it myself. Because I do think we are going up, because I do think that some money will actually be able to be made on this thing in the first place. And some of you might be thinking that most likely I got liquidated already, because my liquidation was at around 0.0038, right? And like the lowest we were is 0.0039. So it's very, very close. But what I've just done recently, because I wanted to sleep well, right? I just entered 20k additional margin. So I just added 15k into this loan, and I just added 5k of margin into my loan on Maxi as well. So there is very, very small chance to me essentially getting liquidated. Although at this stage, if this thing will significantly go down, I will get liquidated not out of $50,000, but out of $70,000. And when I added 20k of margin, man, I was sleeping like a baby. I want you to stop mid-curving these things. I want you to start right-curving them, because I was mid-curving them for quite some time, and I definitely was not making money. Because when you're mid-curving things, when you're saying that they're a scam, they are not making money in the first place. This is how this market is set up in the first place. Stock market is also manipulated with all the guys and things like that. And here, you are buying your altcoins, thinking that they are a great piece of technology, thinking that there are teams developing them, where the exact type of scam is actually going on there as well. There are a bunch of insiders, they just recently dumped all of the bags, and yet you still bought your altcoins. You're not writing to me unsubscribed, you're speaking about altcoins, this whole stuff is manipulated and things like that. This is exactly the same situation. Yes, there were a bunch of insiders. Yes, the things that Crash was saying that is going to be the first trade publicly, it's probably going to be bullshit, because it's not my trade is actually going to be the first public trade. And when this 50k loan with 150k position will turn into 10 million, this would be the first public honest trade, because I'm not an insider, because I was not paid. Even Max, who was charting this token on Twitter, he got sent 100k. I was sent 0. I basically just entered this thing myself. And even when I was fighting Brett several months ago in first videos, I was saying that I'm entering Wolf, if you remember, to take profits on Wolf at a certain time and enter Brett with the profits I would be making from Wolf. That happened like maybe in February. So you only would know that if you are following the channel very, very closely. Again, you might think what you have to think, and if you're thinking that I got paid, I know you got hurt. I know that all the influencers, they were dumping on you. I know that you cannot trust anyone in this space. Unfortunately, if you think that I got paid for this thing, you probably don't deserve me. Probably this space don't deserve someone like myself in this space, who's transparent, who is showing everything, who is not getting paid. Unfortunately, I would actually love to get paid for my loan. I would probably tell you about that. I would probably even actually do a giveaway between maybe members of my Discord or some followers on YouTube as well if I got paid for these things. But I'm not getting paid. I have some people reaching out to me on Twitter about like pumping some shitcoins and things like that, but I don't like these things. Bread is still a deal that a lot of people in the marketplace took on. And the worst thing that might be happening to Bread currently is someone like Crash suddenly stopping to tweet about it. Or maybe some of these guys starting to afraid of them essentially going to jail because they're based in the US, right? Because laws there are very, very interesting, because financial crime is way more severe than if you would actually kill someone, right? And here is something I actually wanted to show you. This is a post from CaesarsCalls. So this is the guy, he pretty much just went on the market like maybe 1.5 months ago, and he started to call each and every influencer a scammer, members of the cabal, and I'm actually finding out interesting things from him, that tokens that I hold, tokens that I was buying, tokens that I was talking about are actually a scam as well. I would like to check out this message and provide information from mine, just how I view things from the information that I have, because on some of these tokens I definitely have more information than this guy has in the first place, but probably on the holders of these tokens and on people around them, he actually might have more information, because I'm still a new guy in this space, and Influencers, they're kind of afraid of me for some reason, right? They don't want to talk to me. Probably due to the things that happened with Satoshi VM and things like that. Influencers don't like me, man. I'm not getting any proposals to pay $10 and create some TikToks about bread and receive several millions of dollars and dump them on the followers, right? Base chain is a scam. This is something interesting. This is something I would actually agree with, not with the fact that obviously the chain is a scam, but with the fact that shilling of base chain pretty much started, I would say, end of February, start of March, and then Toshi pumped quite nicely already. So what I think they've done, because I'm not sure if Dan from Toshi is connected to the whole thing as well. I won't say so at this stage. I don't think so. I think that they saw that the thesis is very, very nice. I think they saw that thesis is playing out. So they decided to take this thesis and to push people to base heavily. And the main thing they decided to push is obviously bread. And essentially bread started certain meme season on base as well. But the whole narrative of base was very, very, very pushed and directed by these influencers in the first place. Bread is a giga scam. So from that point of view, I think he means that, yeah, it has a bunch of insiders, a bunch of people were shilling it. It was given platforms in crypto space. Wow. It was given like large platforms for people to actually be getting into bread, which does not look nice, if you would actually ask me. And the only thing we figure out is that it had insiders and a bunch of KOLs who were shilling it. Man, it's so actually close to Satoshi VM situation as well. The only thing I thought from mine, because I'm not stupid, like when I saw people like Po and all the other guys essentially shilling bread, it didn't feel right in the first place. I just thought for some reason that they bought from the market. But guys like Rex being able to buy as a whitelist wallet like $10-20 of bread, which is like multi-millions currently, yeah, that's just so crazy. My bet in my loan is just the fact that I think that this thing will continue to move up, move forward, because they would still be able to attract people into the whole thing. PumpFan is a scam. I don't know much of it because I'm not a user. Pepe is a scam. This one is an interesting thing because a lot of people were saying, and essentially Pepe received similar type of FUD. And essentially because Pepe received similar type of FUD. So if you would check out right here, initially what was happening back in May, exactly around 1 year ago, which is quite funny. So it was Pepe, right now it's bread. The reason for this sell-off was also this type of FUD that essentially there are a bunch of insiders who are holding these things and things like that. Maybe, just maybe, it was also connected with the arrival of perpetuals on exchanges. So people were able to short the shit out of Pepe and then FUD this thing. And they were probably making a bunch of money in the process. Well, my Memecoin strategy is heavily focused on Pepe in the first place. Calling something which is 3 billion at this stage a scam, you should know that whole crypto is a scam. Like, nothing you can do about this space. It's all a scam with insiders and things like that. And me telling things I was telling about Sui, the only thing I'm telling that Sui is Solana of this cycle, and Solana is a scam in the first place as well. VCs just pumped, then they hired Mike Tyson to tell people to buy Solana, and they were dumping the whole time. People were diamond handing. They were just robbing people. This cycle as well, I do actually expect, I want to say it as well, I want to leave it in the library of internet. I do think that this cycle of Solana might crash the same as Luna was crashing last cycle as well. Let's see if this will essentially come to life or not, right? And with Sui, the reason I'm telling you to buy Sui is because it's a manipulated piece of shit bubble ecosystem. They have nothing. I was speaking with people close to the team. They're just blowing up the bubble. And I do have a feeling that Sui has a chance of becoming of Solana of this cycle. But obviously, you would have to wait, because even if you would check out the chart of Solana, definitely took some time as well. So my Memecoin strategy is heavily focused on Pepe, with Bobo and with other tokens as well that I was buying, and Pepe as a narrative. 3 billion tokens at this stage, even if it is a scam. Like, what type of market forces you would actually need to have to be able to get this like scam down? I think Pepe is the same type of scam as all the other tokens. on the crypto market as well. You can say that Bitcoin is a scam because a bunch of people mined Bitcoin in the first place, and then they started to tell that it's a future financial system, so great. It's a meme token in the first place. Bitcoin is a meme token. Do you understand this? I want you to understand what the fuck is happening in this market and in the world as well. You have your cock in the mouth of a turtle. One day, it will snap. Your goal is to get your cock out before it will actually snap, right? Most likely, it will be snapping not on you, but on all the retail coming in, because all these guys who are running these projects, they do understand that the money that they might be taking from you, it's a very, very small amount of money. They are not investing $500 million into like something like Sui to take your money. It's a very, very small chunk of money. They invest in this money to take money from retail, to rob the smaller guys, but a vast majority of smaller guys. There are much more of them, therefore they have much more money in total. And this meme coin game is quite hard as well, because you need to bet on people who you think have this long-term gratification in place, who you think would be able to not actually look to scam you right now, but who are planning to scam people in the future, right? Retail. You need to plan for these things. I am thinking currently that bread might be the case, and I'm just betting. 50K is not a lot of money in the first place for me right now. Even 70K, right? So I'm just betting, knowing the things that I know, seeing all the things. I was telling you, bread is shady for months. Maybe I will be right this time. Maybe I will be wrong. We make some, we lose some. It's the market, you know. Speedy is a scam. I don't know what the fuck Speedy is. Wolf on Avex is a scam. This is crazy because I pretty much started to push Wolf of Avex back in like February without knowing anything on it. I just saw Crash pushing it back in autumn. And if Crash was pushing Wolf on Avex because it was like a cable scam, like insider thing as well, it's just crazy. Because I saw Paul talking about Wolf on Avex as well. And when Paul talks about things, that makes me nervous, because he was also talking about bobo, and when he started to talk about bobo, that made me nervous as well, if I want to be honest with you. Mumu is a scam, Snibu is a scam, and Mumu, I think he's saying about Mumu and Solana, right? Mumu and Solana, I do think so, like not a scam, but like insider one of the Cabal thing, because Cabal is essentially any type of team that you would have in crypto with certain coverage on Twitter. You can already like say it's a Cabal, and there are different Cabals. In all the tokens that he's pretty much mentioned, there are different Cabals. There are different teams. For example, guys behind Snibu Cabal and Bobo Cabal, some of them, they attacked Bread, like guys from MFR, right? Snibu is a scam. So I know more about Snibu probably than any player on the marketplace. Snibu was a dead token. It pretty much revived. It was revived randomly in the summer. The only reason it might be a scam is because certain people were buying it at less than 100K market cap back when it was dead and no one cared. But I would say it's quite fair. Like, why you would be telling, why you would be saying that this thing is a scam? The only issue with Snibu is because they are just selling. Like in each pump, some of these guys are actually selling in the first place. But at a certain point of time, they will exhaust. At a certain point of time, Bobo would just go to $500 million to $1 billion market cap, and people would be looking into Snibu. And those guys, they will probably not be selling, or they would not have a lot of supply. And this is a very, very interesting thing, because Snibu is a community-run token with a very, very nice distribution. And in comparison to Bread, right? That's a pure kind of comparison you can actually see on the market. Snibu can't go high up because it actually getting sold by some guys who were able to acquire like larger percentage of the supply, because it's not coordinated. So they don't know if other people would dump on them. That's why they're dumping. Bread is an insider thing where they are coordinated, where they are told to hold and they're told when to sell as well. So that's why it's actually pumping higher. And as a player on the marketplace, I want you to understand these things. I want you to stop mid-curve and shit. I want you to start right curve and shit and actually make money on the market. Rido is a scam. So This thing, I don't know. I don't think as well, because I kind of told some people myself about Reader as well. I don't think it's some type of like insider thing. Not sure on this. And the fact that Reader is not a scam, because even when Crash first mentioned Reader, it went up and then it went down. It went way lower than when Crash actually mentioned it. I think like dev scammed, like racked, but people just sold. And there were definitely a bunch of time with other people essentially. And official Tone blockchain on Twitter is actually supporting Reader. So like, why it's a scam? Because there are some people who bought early on each and every token. And I think the logic here is that if people who bought early are connected, then the project is a scam. And if people who bought early are not connected, the project is not a scam. But then I don't understand why Snibu is a scam in the first place, because people who are buying early on Snibu, they're definitely not connected. Conan is a scam. Crash pretty much just called that token. Maybe he was able to like tell like some of his friends to buy in before that, but I'm not even sure on these things. I think first of all, he does not like to do these things because he understands that his friend might be using his followers as exit liquidity. At the same time, I'm in the private group of Crash. He never was sharing calls with any of us before public. He always was sharing calls at the same time as the public. And he had multiple arguments with the members of the community, like why we are your members of private community and you are not sharing calls with us. And he was saying, guys, I'm not going to actually perform pump and dump, right? So I don't think so. If Litecoin is a scam, Bitcoin is a scam as well. Andy on ETH is a scam. Knowing myself, you'll probably say that I would want to agree, but yeah, it was a dead token with a dead narrative. I think initial team like racked, or they pretty much had a very, very low quality, and it was just pushed by Max and his friends. So, but they're not the part of the cabal of Snibu. They're not the part of the cabal of Momo of Avex. They're not the part of the cabal of Brett. He was paid to shield Brett, but he was not the part of the initial cabal. So his wallet was not whitelisted in the first place as well. They used Max at some point of time because they understood that he'll probably be able to push more people with charts. Because at that time, when people did not understand that you cannot chart a shitcoin where you control 80% of the supply, it just does not make sense, because if you're working with a market maker, he can just draw any type of fucking chart that you only want. He can just draw dick and balls and say that, oh, it's dick and balls pattern and we are going up because of it, right? He can draw anything on the chart. He can draw Mona Lisa on the chart if you control 80% of the shitcoin and you're working with a market maker. So it was just a buy of the dead token on the narrative. They sucked up liquidity from Andy on Blast, but at the same time, you were following me into buying Andy on Blast and you dump on me savagely and you bought Andy on Ethereum. And you can tell me something about like unsubscribed, about me not being honest with you and things like that. I am the most honest and transparent guy in this market. Honestly, I don't think you deserve me with your capitalistic type of thing that if I've done something, I actually got paid. I'm just an insane psycho. I'm talking about the token and I'm just buying it the next day. Because you need to be flexible in the market as well. And because the first time I actually started to talk about Brett, I told you already that I would want to enter this thing. And I told you yesterday when I was longing, I think that shadiness is essentially priced into the market. We would see how Brett will be behaving on the upcoming pump. We would see. And then I will be making a decision, because right now I'm down $27,000 only in one long. I'm probably down maybe like 5K more. So I'm down probably 30K at this stage, right? With my Brett long. And we have James Swin who is saying my Brett short position is currently in 450K profit. And this guy, he was sharing this several times. He initially called his short at 0.42. The Brett went to 0.49. At the same time, he told that it's a 7-figure Brett short position. I don't think that he was adding a bunch of margin into this position. Therefore, most likely he already got liquidated if he was actually opening it. He actually lied about himself having $4 million in Brett. He actually lied about the fact that exchanges were delisting Brett as well. So Unfortunately, the guy's just having fun. Unfortunately, the guy's just shitposting, and the first comment you see under this thing is, yo, all these tweets but not a single screenshot. You capping, bro, lol. I tend to agree as well. Dodo is a scam. So this is something that I might say a bit more if we're speaking about SNIB on ETH and Mumu on ETH as well, because Dodo essentially was created in the bull market. It was created by people, by the cabal, I think from a Mepher group, and maybe like Max is connected to them as well in some way. They definitely probably bought some and they just started to shill this thing, right? Well, it's just the fact that it was created in the bull market. I was not buying Dodo myself. I don't see strong execution there. That's why I'm essentially not entering. And as mentioned, I would never be entering bread if there was no leverage option, because I would not be satisfied with the size of my position. Bobo is a scam. Well, this is the token that I'm pretty much basing my whole strategy for this cycle on. We probably have some others. I think some others will be doing well, but Bobo is kind of my safe pick in the whole market as well. Imagine who you're following. Like, you have guys like stable coins, for them is safe pick, right? Bitcoin for some is the safe pick. Ethereum for some is a safe pick. Solana for some. For me, safe pick is Bobo. It's actually so crazy. So why I'm saying that Bobo is not a scam is because I had multiple discussions with Crash through the bear market about Bobo. I was talking to people who are close, like who are admins, who are mods in Bobo group as well. I was seeing the community through the bear market. My second video on the channel where I'm sitting in this green type of outfit, Bobo actually reposted on the Twitter, and at that time their Twitter had less than 1,000 followers. So the only reason you might be telling that Bobo is a scam is because some people bought all the supply at the bottom and then they kind of pumped this thing, right? But it was in the bear market for like 8-10 months. And when Solana Memecoins were already surging up, were already showing highs, everyone was saying Ethereum is dead, Ethereum memes are dead. People that know that I'm holding Bobo, they were making fun of me, right? And saying that I will be losing my money with my Bobo. And I was just holding. And anyone could actually had an option to buy Bobo in the first place. As essentially with some of these tokens, right? Because underneath you probably was not able to buy at the bottom if you're not a friend of Max, right? So with Bobo, anyone could have bought. And I've done like multiple videos, buy Bobo, buy Bobo, buy Bobo, buy Bobo. And I did not know, and I still don't think that like there are like some crazy insiders. I was a bit upset when I figured out that Po is a holder of Bobo as well. I was a bit upset when I saw that like there are some guys that bought like their Bobo at $12, like $20 worth of Bobo at the start, and right now they have like 800k, things like that, and they were taking like 80k profit. But even these guys, they were taking 80k profits. Probably like some of them might be poor actually in the first place. And like they only were taking 80k profit out of $1 million at this stage. You can also say something about it, right? The fact that even if they are this type of holders, they're still not dumping, they're just holding. And which most likely means that they're waiting for retail to come in, to actually dump on the retail. There are lots more too. Please note that he's not saying that Andy on Blast is a scam, because it's not. And he's not saying that Linda on Linea is a scam, which are two picks that I really, really like a lot. And Andy on Blast is definitely more short-term than Linda on Linea, but I do believe that with Blast doing well, Andy on Blast might be doing as well, because it's first. First is first. You can create like a bunch of scam tokens and push it with your friends, but first is first in crypto. Don't believe me, I don't care. Watch the information that gets blasted over Twitter this week. We figured it all out. These dumb QLs are the frontmen, just like I said. They are poor, they are LARPs, and they are working for much higher up people to run spaces and be frontmen reds. Well, that's quite interesting. I would say that it might be happening with the KOLs, just working for some people with money. The game is deep. Study Godbit, study Litecoin, Casper, Travala, Bybit, and other currencies. So I would say that definitely something like this is happening. There are probably organizations like that are working on this market and constantly like trying to suck up liquidity from the market. It would be just stupid, because if they won't be doing that, someone else would essentially be doing that, and probably this someone else would turn the control, and probably this someone else will take the control over the market, over time, leading with these organizations kind of dying out. So they kind of have to do these things in the first place. Same people go chain to chain and set up everything. They get to the point where they are able to control the airdrops of the chain, which is insanely dangerous. And they make most of the wallet draining websites for the chain. I warned you about that too when I first found Dan. If he's speaking about Dan who called Toshi because he's working on his like airdrop software, again, I don't think that like they are creating draining websites in the free time. Like just bad karma in the first place. Like these people have enough money in the first place. Soon you will realize everything. Either way, they're fucked. So this is quite interesting because the guy is essentially claiming that he will put them in jail. And I believe guys, because I was quite excited what doxed guys in the US were doing with these meme coins, like creating fake volume and kind of suggesting to buy and things like that. So yeah, in the US, if you're doxed, because like guys in the US who are actually doxed, you can kind of count them by the fingers on one hand, right? There are not so many of them. And it's very, very interesting to see doxed guys in the US pushing their own meme coins, because most of the guys are not doxed. I believe Caesar was also saying something that he will come in Dubai and try to expose them as well. Well, there are some things that he will learn in life, right? Because they also seek to control the launch pads. Toshi will drop the scam pad so they can... Toshi holders. Toshi is interesting as well. Tate, Ansem, GCR, Beatboy, Jesse Pollock, Shiba Team. These are all the different people they have tried to bring in to get more hype. How do you think I knew Tate was involved with base chain before Roost? The evidence is all out there. Well, it's quite interesting to actually read that, because if you remember my first video about Bread, I said that there is a high chance that Andrew Tate holds Bread and Toshi. Because kind of people who are around these tokens, they're kind of close to Tate. So it's just a very, very high chance that he would be holding. I'm 90% sure that Tate holds Toshi, and like 65-70% sure that Tate holds Bread. Because even people around Tate who don't like Bread, they still hold Bread. Probably got pretty early as well. Smart people keep all of this in mind and start digging. One by one, we will crash every bad QL, every project they touch, every protocol they have made, and rebuild crypto from the ground up. Well, that's a crazy claim to make. If Caesar will be able to do that, that would be just insane, I would say. One by one, you will see new evidence supporting all of these theories. The issue with these things is that kind of people are biased because people don't care. Because we're kind of trying to crash all these KOLs and things like that, because crypto is a scam. And you can crash each and every project. Each and every project has insiders. And if the project is successful, it means that there are better insiders there. So they are working more as a team. They're not selling on purpose. They control a larger percentage of the supply. So there are even more kind of criteria to say that these projects are scam in the first place. So pretty much each and every successful project, especially if it's a meme coin, you can say that like it's a scam, right? Which is quite crazy. The SEC are not as bad as they say. They will be rewarding any people who come with undeniable evidence of links to the top players. They pay very reasonable commissions to people with great evidence, so many pre-sales and people involved will go to jail. Encourage people to share information around and get loud. I would say the only guys that might be in jeopardy are doxed guys in the US. Those are like the first targets. If you're doxed in the US, in crypto, leave. You might very, very well be fucked. Wow, 240k views? When I saw this initially, it actually an article from today, I saw it at 30k. This is all love Satoshi. Well, as mentioned, Bitcoin is a meme coin as well. And it was pushed by insiders to essentially do these things as well. But it would be quite interesting to see what Caesar and his team will do, because he already mentioned that like he's in the hideout or something, because they were trying to send some people after him, and some people in Twitter, they already start to talk less about the projects. And that's like one of the main issues that I actually have with my Bread loan, because Crash is kind of not that enthusiastic about Bread, I would say, in the last couple of days on his Twitter. I don't know if you can see that, but I tend to see people better, than most people, especially the people that I think I tend to know to a certain extent. So he's kind of still pushing it, but he's definitely not that confident at this stage. And there are definitely big money involved, and there definitely might be some things out there as well. But I'm just a holder. I just want my number to go up, and I just bet on the fact that people are biased, that people know that like there is a bunch of scam in the space anyway, and that people would just tell like, Caesar, we just don't care. Just let us be nice with these projects, because I bought these projects a long time ago. I thought it's all alright. I thought it's all fine. Then you're coming and you're saying that these projects are a scam. What projects are not a scam? Oh, alright, these are projects that you are pushing, right? And why they are not a scam. Just don't touch my projects. I just want to sit calmly. I just want to retail to come and dump on someone grand smart and just go and do my things and just go and do well. Alright? I think this is something that people would essentially desire from Caesar as well. But very, very interesting what is actually happening in this space. One more thought on this matter. If big players cash out all, you would see most on-chain alts going to zero. Most can't survive a crash like that. What we see now is people are selling because of boredom, slow bleed down. Most are going to buy back higher. People are taking actions based on fear, which is very normal. It might be the only money for now to make it, so they want to be 100% sure. Selling at the lows because what if it goes down more? Buying because of fear, because what if I miss this trade, right? I was also like this. You won't be like this forever. So the most important thing is the first part, because essentially with all the altcoins that you're holding, with all the things that you think, oh, like they're not a scam, they're actually nice projects and things like that, most of them have a bunch of VCs. Most of them, if VCs will all decide to dump at one point in time, they will just go to zero, because often the market caps are inflated in comparison to the real liquidity that people actually have. And the only thing we actually have to rely on is that these VCs will decide that they don't want to take our money. They will decide that they actually want to take money of retail. And we actually had some events that were happening that showed you already that if people will think that the world is going to shit, the world is going to zero, they will just dump anyway. And you probably know of this event. I'm talking about COVID crash. This thing right here, right? Back in 2020, from February to March, right? So it was this crash where everyone just dumped on each other because of the fact that they thought that it's going to zero. Let me take the money of these guys at this stage. I don't want to wait till retail comes. Obviously, there were some smart people who were buying into the FUD, who were not dumping, or maybe they were just dumping and they were just buying back like right away and things like that, with the long-term gratification. They're ready to wait till retail would essentially come, so they will be able to dump on retail anyway. So definitely very, very interesting things are happening. We have pretty much one Caesar wanting to put all of the influencers in jail. And to be honest with you, 100%, all of them, they have their things to go to jail, like 100%. I'm speaking about the guys who were included in these like close circles, who were able to buy like $20 worth of bread, for example, because the wallet was whitelisted and they've done some TikToks on TikTok, right? And they were able to sell multiple millions of dollars. I was never invited into one of it because probably I do think that influencers just hate me, right? After all the situation with like Satoshi VM and things like that. I think they hate, they afraid, and respect to a certain extent as well. But not a lot of influencers are talking to me, unfortunately, if any. Right? And you still say unsubscribe, you still say you were building your credibility for so long, and now you got it to zero because you got paid, because you entered $50,000 loan, and in the same video you were saying that they can crash the whole thing to zero. You need to understand how to see things for what they are. I'm probably like not your default human being. That's why it's quite hard for you to understand me, because on my end, if someone would essentially propose to you to do something, you would do it like 100%. That's the main reason that you actually accuse me in these things. Because the exact second you would get proposed to do like this type of video, to buy bread and essentially try to improve the reputation, you would do it. Because of your own flaws. You basically think that everyone else is the same around you. Learn to read Stan. It's very, very hard for people who know me for years to still read me quite well. It's very, very hard. And I know you did not ever have a chance to actually talk to me. It's pretty much just me talking to you through this video. So it's probably going to take some more time on these things. But I explained everything. I am transparent. I am the most transparent and trustworthy guy on this platform, in this space. The sooner you would actually understand it, the better it will be for you, because I'm also explaining to you how things actually work, because I'm also explaining how you can actually not just mid-curve these things, calling them a scam, right? But maybe try to take advantage of them. I was not the best with my trade. I pretty much entered at the local top, but there were people who just bought the FAT, they've made the 2x, they exited, and they're already doing very, very well. They're already doing fine because they just know how this market works. The chart just shows the psychology of people, nothing else. Some thoughts on the bearishness of the whole thing. Last time I felt this bearish price was chopping 40k to 48k, and I was convinced we were going to 32, 38k. Instead, we pumped fiercely to 72k. Probably no lessons in there, just honest observation. And boring market leads to pump. It's how the crypto market works. The more boring it is, the higher it will pump afterwards. This is something I believe as well. I don't think that too many people actually sold. I actually would want to wish all the best to your portfolio if you sold. Rest in peace, right? And I think you might just be buying higher, because things you have to understand, right? You behave like all these governments, all these people in power, they only want the good for you, right? They all are screaming this news about Japan, about Russia banning Bitcoin, about US SEC and different lawsuits, about Europe essentially creating limits for crypto, about Canada as well. They obviously are only telling this to you because they have your best interest in mind, right? That's the main thing that they care about, the main thing they actually work for. Not because they want to take as much as control they want from you, not because they actually want to make you as poor as they only can, not because they want to actually make you a slave, not because they actually want to send you to war to die, right? Their actions are definitely not directed into that direction, right? They definitely want you rich, free, so you can travel, so you can do what you want, so you can actually not be a slave and receive satisfaction from life, right? And all this FAT is created specifically so you would know. They are actually telling you, hey, here is, it will probably go down, just sell your thing. We want you to be safe, right? We want you to be safe, so we will essentially go down so you can buy back more. So you would actually be able to make some money, so you will be rich, because we want to actually see you rich. We want to see you free. We want to see you satisfied. We don't want you to be our slave working in Matrix. We don't want to send you to war, right? Man, it's so crazy. Market does not understand what is happening currently, and you need to understand what is actually happening. And my channel, my goal is for you to understand actually what is happening. I don't think we are actually going up only, at least for the month of May. And initial projections that I had is that we are going to 68k BTC this week, right? And then we are going like straight back down to 52k to like get some liquidity there and things like that. And I kind of think it's like too easy as well, because if I think about that, and I'm getting same type of thoughts from different people in the marketplace as well. That means that it's just too obvious. That means it's just that everyone will treat this 68k pump as a pump to get rid out of the risky positions, to sell, and to get ready to go to 52k, right? And then we will just go straight to new all-time highs for BTC, and these people will actually either be forced to buy in, or they will not be buying, thinking it's all a fake pump, it's a bull trap, and we're eventually going way lower. Because market fucks everybody. The goal of the market is to actually fool all of us. And market never moves as most people essentially think and as most people plan. And following the actions on the market, Twitter is way more silent currently. So many people just left. They're not essentially writing anything. People are writing unsubscribed only under my YouTube channel, thinking I actually got paid. There is so much you need to learn in this life. Your governments are warning you, so you will be rich. So you will sell and you will buy back lower, right? This is the only thing they care for. All of the politics in the last several decades was directed on you actually becoming rich. They did not make you a weak Westman. They did not make your woman not actually listen to you and do some things and thinking that she is the main person in life and in your house as well. They did not poison your food. They did not poison your water. They did not inflate your money. They did not lock you up for a couple of years. They did not start some wars to inflict certain policies to get rid of any type of self-control that you only have left, right? Because they care for you. Because they're telling you all this fight so you would actually sell, so you can actually buy back lower. Alright, it's still funny at this stage. I would want to end this video. Hopefully, next one I would do about some Memecoin picks that I'm essentially buying myself. Very, very interesting one. Thank you very much for unsubscription as well. Man, if you unsubscribed after yesterday videos, like if you're new on the channel, it's alright if you don't know me, right? It might be okay. Low chance you would actually make it. I think that you sold your positions already and you're waiting for lower to buy back in because your government actually wants the best for you, right? And they are warning you before some bad events will start happening, right? Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be seeing you tomorrow.